Yeah, Anke, to start with, just wanted to know a little bit more about you and the collective you represent, and how you know that Upper Collective existed in the first place, and when it happened, the step of you going forward and start using the platform and join.
So my name is Anke. I'm a strategic designer, and the collective that I'm in Open Collective is called Chatmosphere, which is a small open source project that for us as the collective, it's more of a side project. It's not where we earn our living with, but it's pretty design driven. So yeah, that's like for our backgrounds. And the project started in Germany based on a funding from the Prototype Fund, which is basically a little bit like an accelerator to help small initiatives to get public money. And so they try to make it easier or more accessible, because applying for innovation funds is only possible for big organizations, simply for what you have to have as a backbone and as, I don't know, like financial, I don't know how you say that in English, like the securities that you bring. And so they tried to bridge this gap between where innovation happens and where the money goes by being somehow the distributor. A little bit, I had to think a little bit of Open Collective after I learned what you guys are doing. And this funding is awesome, but you have to become a small legal entity to be able to receive this funding if you're a group. And this legal entity is also not meant to stay if you decide to run your project as a business after this funding. So in most cases, people will just stop to be this legal entity and then do however they want to proceed, or they form like a legal, like a GbR, a GmbH. This is in Germany, the one where you can earn money, which is maybe like an incorporated, like the big companies in the US. And this weird entity that we have to form, it creates for me a lot of tax overhead, because I have to do the tax report. I have to, we have like a tax lawyer who's helping us, or tax accountant, and still we have to pay him and we have to hand in everything. We need to do all the paperwork, but then it is not giving us a lot of benefits. And so if it is, we decided to run this still as an open source project, also meaning, for example, that we will not work on it if we don't have any funds, but then we also will not worry about it, and we will continue working on it when we have time or if there are funds. And if you have this kind of approach, maintaining a big legal structure is just creating costs. And so in the first funding round, I had one person in my friend's network. She is also working in legal tech, and she mentioned Open Collective. And I looked at it, and somehow I felt like, oh, this is interesting. Maybe people know it. I'm not so sure about open source projects in general. There's so many things, but it seems legit, but I didn't really read into it. I just realized that it's existing. And then we had a coach actually in this program, accelerating program, who also contributed to Signal before. And he asked us if we know Open Collective, because it sounded like it could help us continuing without having the legal overhead. And I have to admit that it still took us a year until we really made that step, because it just took so many times for me to really understand the legal structure that we really were in the first place, and then how it would change if we would do the switch. And then I felt unsure if we should do it. And once we did it, we were all surprised, like, oh my God, we applied and we just got yes 2 minutes later. We didn't expect that because we thought it will be the same tedious thing, like applying for a Stripe account, applying for whatever. But until we went there, it took us quite some iterations. So it's a year-long process, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope I've covered all the questions you had.
Yeah. So you started to engage with this public fund, and after you were on your active project, under that fund, it's when you started to use Open Collective, right? through Open Collective Europe as a host?
Yeah, or to be more precise, we had one funding round, which was exactly a year ago. And this is where we learned about Open Collective. And we weren't sure if we should switch or not. And now we applied, we had a second funding round, which is just stopping today. Like now there's a demo day and whatever. And in the time of the second funding, we took the time to really figure out everything and apply to Open Collective in that time. And it took us a year from learning to it until we decided to do it. And in the meantime, we have 2 legal entities for those 2 funding rounds. And so I'm very happy if I can merge all of them into Open Collective and let go of the tax work.
I was about to ask what were you using before? Like you created a legal entity, or you used one that you guys had already?
No, we had to create one. It is called GBR, and it's a very German thing. But it's more like if 3 private people decide to work together, it's the most easy entity you can form.
You got it. Cool. So the purpose of this this exercise that we're doing is to recreate the onboarding process you took as a collective admin, which means that our goal is to create a collective. And please, every context is different. So just I will encourage you to think out loud and say like all the stuff that you remember it captured your attention during your onboarding. So to do that, if it's okay if you share your screen. Sharing with you.
Yeah.
It would be of a test platform that we use. It's like a mirror of opencollective.com, but for testing purposes, which means that you will have to create a new user because it won't record the one that you created with opencollective.com originally.
No worries.
So yeah,
I'll do. Okay, so first I'm just moving this to the screen that I can share it easily, and I'll share.
Yeah, feel free to share when you're ready.
But you need to activate that first.
This happens. Sorry about that.
No worries.
Okay, done.
Oh yeah, here we go. Oh, I can only, no, here we go. Okay. This should be the Open Collective window, right?
Yeah, I see it.
All right. Okay. Then when I see this, I just remember immediately that I initially started an organization, not a collective. I don't know why, but we now have an organization and a collective. And I didn't really understand it until somebody said, oh, if I type in Chatmosphere, I see 2 Chatmospheres. And I was like, oh my God, I don't know. So this is just something I realized. And I would imagine that if I say now I want to create a collective, that this is not creating an organization. Should I do it?
Yeah, go for it. By the way, I'm trying to talk as less as possible, but yeah.
Okay.
Feel free to ask stuff. I just don't want to bias you with anything.
All right. All right. So I'm just using my Gmail, whatever email address, because I think I didn't use it, but it's your test system anyways. All right. Okay, the button is maybe not so centered, but I think this is not the important part here. So I'll open now on another window. I'll just move it out. My email and hope that I get an. I didn't receive an email yet. I click a second time.
I think it's because you have to join right now. You're like on the sign in process.
Right, I just don't get it. I thought that I'm signing in to then create a collective.
Yeah, click on that button you have there. Like that is the join, right? Like one is signing in, And since you don't have an account, it's telling you that you have to create a new account, right?
Yes. Okay, I didn't get the copy. It's probably because of the, maybe it's the localization, I don't know, but it says here that there isn't an account with this email address, but the copy is so small that I didn't get it, to be honest, at that point. And probably this should be the join button.
Yeah, actually, one thing probably we can do before continuing is that I see that the German translation is nowhere near complete on 21%. So
yeah, we can switch to English if you want.
For the purposes of this test, the success, can we switch to English on the footer?
Sure. It says, that's a great thing that you have the localization tracker. Didn't know that until now. Cool. Yeah, because I think, because kostenlos beitreten, it's not really what I would expect as the wording if it's to ask me to just create my account to join. And so I was just not getting it. Okay, so join a collective. Should I start again here? So join free. I, as a UX designer, struggle in signing in. This is fun. So I now get, okay, the fun thing is that I feel like you expect that somebody who wants to open a collective already has an account. But then the copy here says create an account or sign in to start a collective. And so I would, if this is the copy here, create an account or sign in, then I would think create an account would also be the first option in the input field. And I think that I just kind of like scanned the copy, and this is what primed me what is happening, because of course I'm not reading through everything, even if I should. And this made me doing the wrong thing, I assume. So I don't want to sign in, I want to join. And also if it tells me create an account, then please use create an account as the label for this button, because then it's immediately connected, like what I should do. All right, here I am creating an account. My display name. You see, it's it's in my browser. My legal name, it says it's optional. Legal name is private and shared with the hosts for donation receipts. Okay, yeah, I will do that. And I don't read the rest, to be honest. I feel so bad. I feel now that I realize my patterns when I'm doing stuff on the internet. My email, I'll enter it. Not again, because I'm in a different dialogue now. And I don't want to receive the monthly newsletter most of the time. So I create a profile. Magic link is on its way. Yay. Open Gmail. Oh, you realize that I have Gmail, or is this just accident? That's cool. I'm on your staging list. One click login. I click the button. And now I can create a collective for a community or for an open source project. I can see examples. I now know that I do it for an open source project, but I know the first time when I've been on the website, I struggled a little bit because I didn't exactly know if we can't be like a community and an open source project. But I think I would, if I'm new, I would scroll through the examples to get a little bit more answer. Or maybe I would have a decision tree, like, are you this or this? Like I can ask, like answer 2 or 3 basic questions, like, do you have a public GitHub repository? Then it's very likely that you are an open source project. Or you don't do anything with code, I don't know. But now I'm doing the open source project. Open source projects are invited to join the open source collective fiscal host. You are creating software. Correct. You don't want to worry about creating a legal entity or bank account, taxes, invoice, and a bunch of other admin. Let us take care of all of that so you can stay focused on your project. We have created the Open Source Collective, a nonprofit umbrella organization to serve the open source community. To join, you need at least 100 stars on GitHub or to meet our alternative verification criteria. I think that's new. I don't know, but we don't have 100 stars, or maybe we didn't have that when we joined. Fees, 10% of the funds. Our fees cover operating costs like accounting, payments, tax reporting, invoice, legal. I agree with the terms of fiscal sponsorship. Verify using GitHub stars, request manual verification. Okay, I think that we didn't, so we just entered stuff and we also entered our GitHub link, but probably it was a manual process and we didn't have that choice, I think. What do I think about this step? My feeling is that I totally would not onboard like that, because there were so many questions that I initially had. So I think this onboarding totally works in a scenario where I informed myself, I went back and forth, I checked, I read some article, I read the great documentation that you have, by the way. And then at some point I realized, okay, now I'm going to do it. And then I open the website Open Collective, and then I see it right in my face that I can create a collective and I go through this. But when I'm in this scenario, I think I don't need this text here again, because this is stuff that I already know. And if I'm new to this text here on this website won't be enough to make me understand why it's 10% or what's all like the details. So I don't know if I would just overread it or if I'm unsure about the site. I would rather love if there would be 5 bullets of the agreement, the terms of the sponsorship, just in plain, simple English, like you basically will agree that we get some fees, that you can do this, that you can't do this. The details are in the terms of the fiscal sponsorship. Maybe this would make me more likely to not read the terms, but I would open them in another tab. And at some times when I try to close all my tabs, I will download it or save it. That's probably my pattern. And I would request a manual verification because I don't know by heart how many stars we have on our GitHub profile. This looks familiar to me. Now I see the first time that there is this 501c clause, which I always think it's about that you can put donations to this legal entity. In German, it has a different name, but this is the first time I see it. I do our name for the collective. We do awesome casual video chats, and I probably also typed something like your project seems super cool, can we join, and is this the right fiscal host if we are located in Germany, maybe. And now I have to agree with the terms of service of the Open Collective, and I think to myself, didn't I already do this in the step before? Because how can I enter all my data if I'm not agreeing with the terms of services? Shouldn't I check this when I initially create my account? I'm confused. But for the sake of this, I would just click the box for the sake of this test. But I would have assumed that I need to do this earlier. And it seems counterintuitive for me that it's only happening here. But it's probably the case because it's a dialogue that is also shown if I'm already signed in, right? If I already have an account. And then I do this probably for the collective. That's my mental model right there. I create a collective now. All right. You just have to stop me if I'm just clicking on stuff that I shouldn't.
Pretend that I'm not here.
Okay. Chatmosphere has been created. Awesome. This is even more awesome than before. Before, I think I had this, that this is pending, and then we got an email message that it was approved. And now it is manual, but it is also created. So I'm just wondering how this is working. Awesome. Now I can add administrators. That's me. I don't want to invite someone else as administrator because nobody of our team wants to be an administrator. Admins can modify settings and approve expenses. I pretend now that I don't know about this to sign feature, which is why I'm not adding another administrator at this point, to keep it easy for my team. And I'm irritated that the checkboxes on the top, welcome administrator contact, somehow because of this blue highlight, I thought, because this is, it looks highlighted for me if it's full blue. And so I thought that this is the pointer where I'm at the moment. I think the logic is that it's checked and then it gets blue once I'm done. But maybe it should be the page where I am that is more present. And then if it's checked, it should be white and then less in my face, less like a call to action. To put my focus on that. But that's probably a minor detail. I have a website. And I have Twitter. And I have a GitHub that I have to look up because I'm always not sure if I'm on the right, if it's the right name tag. It's so simple. Yeah. Whee! I thought at some point that we get bored by the celebration moments because it's now for every UX designer in their box, but it just is nice to get rewarded for something that you did. Welcome to your new collective. You're all set. Customize the look, start accepting contributions, and interact with your community. Yay. Now I have to click close, which is not yay, but still yay, I close this. Collective pending approval. Now that's a bummer. Now you told me that I am having a collective, but now it's very big, tells me in the beginning that it's pending approval. So the celebration is actually not true. Now I need to bring it all back, and no confetti because we have to wait until the approval is actually granted. So I would maybe really, yeah. I mean, for the people that have GitHub that are automatically accepted, they should get the confetti. But I think for me, it's now super weird that I should celebrate and then I'm not celebrating. Then I have this planted pot. Of course, I would want to put in my logo. Then at some point, I would try to edit the cover. Now I'm just going on with details, and you will just stop me when it should go into another direction. I would try to edit the cover, and then I would realize that the format is super weird, and whatever kind of picture I try to put in, it always looks super weird with this decoration thingy. but it always looks awesome when I post on social media, because then it takes it as the header picture and that looks really good. But on the page itself, I took so much time to find the right way how to put in a picture, and then I just left it. Okay, now I'm here. I try to imagine and to remember how it was when I was just being here the first time. I added the team. I think that was one of the first things that I did. I added people that were I don't know how I did this. Maybe I did add them via the organization, but I added people who were part of this project because I didn't want this to be so empty. But now I can't add someone, it looks like. Our team, that's me. I added the description. So this is something, maybe now I start from the bottom. I added the description, which was also the text we have on the website. I added people from our team too. The news and conversations, I somehow skipped, or they were more on the bottom. I don't know, because I didn't have activities there. Yes, and when it came to the contributions itself, I was actually a little bit lost because I had a call, I actually scheduled an onboarding call with you, because with you as Open Collective, because I wanted to understand how in Europe I can offer companies to get a receipt so that they can tax deduct what they do, because this is one of the big reasons why we did choose also to work together with Open Collective. And I then just learned in that call that a sponsorship actually acts in such reason, because it is something like I can show your logo on my website and you give me money for this. So this is a service, and this is something that the company that wants their logo displayed can just put to their expenses, and so deducted from taxes, and without doing an official donation, which was a hack that was unbelievably important for us. But I didn't understand the differences in those contributions. And it says here recurring contribution sponsor and backer. And I was also confused the first time, that I was asking myself, why is it that it's 2 times the same things, but with a different name? So it took me quite some time to understand the differences in those categories. And it took me quite some weeks until we did it the way we have it now on our website, because I was then doing a draft and sharing this with our team, and then I was sharing it with a potential sponsor if this would work for them, but I didn't figure that out by myself. So we had a collective, and I think the presets stayed like this for quite some time until I had everything figured out. But I was very happy that we had some presets, because people could already give us money, even though I didn't have a clue what was the best. Yes. Connect. I'm just clicking now on the other parts here about. I remember that I had the possibility. Settings. I was using settings to check what I can do, and then I realized that there are those goals, and that I can do more. Profile page. Not sure how I did this. Connected accounts. And here there was this option to connect Twitter, which I think is cool, but I didn't do it because I didn't realize, I don't have a feeling how it would look like. And that's also the same. The first sponsor, for example, we had, I asked this person if they can please do the sponsorship so that we can test in advance what happens if they get like the right receipt, if everything works before we post this on Twitter. And then we realized that we are actually doing it the wrong way. And there was no preview. There was nothing like generate a test expense or generate a test sponsorship just to see how it looks. And I think with Twitter, I also didn't connect it. I do it manually. If somebody gives us money, because I feel insecure how the outcome looks like, and I don't want my Twitter timeline polluted with weird messaging. And so I didn't touch it, but it's something that it's on my list. But policies, I looked at different other collectives and did read all of their how they do it, their policies, and then I was copy pasting together what I thought were best practices for us. I didn't export anything so far. This would maybe happen if we need to do something for taxes. Maybe I added the team here. I think I added them here, but I'm not sure. And I think that's about it. I didn't do anything with the expenses yet because we were just starting. So we have money right now. And only when now this month, like in March, we are not in this funding. This is where we start to actively using the budget that we're having right now. So for the expenses, I can't tell you, but so far so good. And yeah, when I thought that my that my profile page here looked good after a lot of back and forth, and after figuring out that I can't change the pictures here on the custom cards that I really, really would have loved to do because they look a little bit like placeholders that we didn't manage to fill. But yeah, I was then sharing this on our website and sharing the link, embedding it in GitHub. And this is where we are today, that we have it running, and we hope that people will drop us some money. Okay,
Cool.
that's it for now.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Was super useful. I just want to follow up on one thing. Can you go over again the stuff you said about the hero image?
Here, the header.
Yeah, didn't really get that part. You mentioned that there was one preview that you liked, but here on the page looked weird. So just wanted to know a bit more on that.
Yeah, so the way how it's embedded here, I didn't manage to make our assets work. They all are looking weird, or they're scaled in a way that it doesn't make any sense or that it doesn't look good. But if I'm sharing our website on social media, it's this header picture or hero picture that you said that is also displayed as a default for the social media post, right? And there it looks perfect because it's not cut and anything. It is just like the image that you uploaded. So I'm happy that we uploaded the picture. And even though it looked weird on this website, we kept it because it looks awesome on the social media.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, just a side note, we just pushed the fix to improve the zooming option, and the cropping option of the images. So yeah, I would like to know if that works for you.
I tested it already, and it doesn't help us really because I don't know how to say, the ratio, how this decorative element here is cutting pictures, is making it very hard to use custom assets that you have. You basically would have to produce a banner so that it really looks good. And there, since there is no information, what would be the ideal banner size? Like, I don't know, 1900 pixels or whatever, we have to guess, or you have to use the inspect tool, which I didn't really do. And so we ended up custom making a header, but it still didn't work. And then we stopped putting our time on this. So I think this would have helped me, just this information, how big the header should be. And then you just do something where you only have something in the right upper corner. But our headers are just not fitting with this banderole element.
Could you present really quick your current page?
Sure.
To see what you're checking out?
Sure. Oh, wait, that is our website, but I have it here. Ah, yeah. So we now have this picture, like this is the one that is the most abstract, so it doesn't interfere too much. But we also, like, if we make it smaller so that you can see the fingers better, then we would need to have a broader one. And we made this as a header image, like a standard header size, but then it was still not the right size, and now it's scaled in a weird way. So it's not perfect, but it works for us, and it looks awesome on social media. So we decided to keep it.
Okay,
But
cool.
of course, we would have done different pictures here on each of those badges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Feel free to stop sharing when you feel comfortable to do.
Mhm.
So. Yeah. Thanks a lot. This was super helpful. I mean, I'm following like some obvious patterns, you know, with the codes that I'm having. And again, you know, I know there are lots to do. So yeah, we have a lot of projects on the radar. So you know, as you know, these updates will slowly come, will be pushed to implementation. And yeah, I would love to stay in touch with you
Mhm.
if you know, to test our solutions again with the folks that we tag in the first place, like to have like
Yeah.
that continuity. I'd like to do that. So if that's okay, I will keep your contacts and be in touch again when I have like more news, more exciting news.
Yeah, sure. Feel free to do so. And I mean, just as a side note, I think that you guys and ladies probably are doing a very, very good job with this thing. And I think it is about taxes, and it's about complex matter. And there is a learning curve that you have to have. And what I
Yeah.
just realized for this onboarding, it's not like the onboarding in e-commerce where it's about
Yeah.
being quick with the onboarding. You need to have this back and forth. And one of the things that made my onboarding really meaningful was the documentation that you had, because I could read so much in detail and I felt like it's super transparent. And then, of course, there's stuff that you can do better in the onboarding, but in terms of what's
Yeah.
most important, it's the getting the relevant information in the steps. And that, like, and it's, I think it's a lot of copywriting to get the right cues at the spot. And then, I mean, the header picture, yeah, it's okay, like, to, if it's like that, if I would just have to weigh, I think it's just getting the relevant information. And so far it's really cool project, so I think you will have a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm having lots of fun. Be sure about that. All right, so I won't take
Cool.
any more of your time. I will share the instructions for you to submit your expense, you know, to this, for this test, to
True.
for funds to be yeah, to be added to your collective. And I'll be in touch when I have like more stuff related to with this code that we can test it together.
Awesome. Cool.
All right.
Was a
Well,
pleasure and good luck.
thanks again, Anke. Bye bye.
Take care. Bye.